Okay, stand by, change the scenery, but it's all good. All right, so what I was talking about, I guess this whole video will be concentrated on, first of all, my experience as an EP in Delhi. Some of the things I noticed that I feel like you guys can definitely take into consideration for next year. And all of it will be definitely focused on quality, because as a VP OGX, I found that throughout my year, quality was the thing that we all became focused on striving for, and I'm really glad that Raghav is really focused on this aspect of being an LCP, because obviously, as you guys know, quantity goes hand in hand with quality, and the only way we're going to be able to increase our numbers is by providing quality experiences, and that's what we all want anyways, to provide quality experiences. So, first of all, talking about my experience, so I was working on Project Oran last year with all the interns. There was about 15 of them, and I guess one of the most valuable things that I took out of my experience was the fact that the leaders, such as Raghav and Adiraj, were really trying to pull out my leadership potential. What I really believe is that the project was a perfect kind of balance of not only the spontaneity of Delhi, the unexpectedness of doing a DCDB project, but also they gave the interns something to fully engage with, to explore their creativity, and to be kind of independent in a way. We were allowed to develop our own plans. We were allowed to be experiencing culture shock at the same time, because we had time to just time to relax, accompanied with time to really focus on how we could be a leader. And that's what I really valued, is that they were making an effort to find the potential in us so that we could explore it. And many other projects, I felt like, didn't have that focus. They weren't focused on helping the interns themselves realize how they could become leaders, realize how they could explore their potential, and how they could be creative in a different environment. Possibly some projects have changed and have improved in that way, but if we're looking to truly impact the interns that we want to bring into our country, we have to realize that the process of them going on an internship is also included in helping them develop as a leader. And if we forget that we need to focus on as well their strengths and their weaknesses and help them develop as a person, then we're kind of losing the value of our internships. So what happened is that I left the internship with a whole new perspective of how I could be a leader. And the best part, actually, of that internship was at the beginning, when I was approached by the AIESEC members, and they told me that I was somehow the captain of Project Oran for the first few weeks, because they saw the potential in me. So that's just something to think about when you're bringing your interns into your country. Really focus on what their goals are, what their personal and professional goals are. Think of them as a whole person experiencing culture shock, experiencing the need to feel creative, the need to put their energy into something valuable, and to see the outcome. The last event that we had at Project Oran was the place where I actually got to see and witness the outcome of all the work that not only the AIESEC members were doing, but also that we were having with the kids that we were working with. If you guys can find times and places to show that to your interns, to make them feel like they're doing something valuable and impactful, it'll make all the difference for them in the long run. And hopefully what we're striving for is to give them that integrated experience where they're not only just going on the internship, but they're engaging in AIESEC as a member, they're engaging in AIESEC as a leader. So that being said, that's kind of what led me to wanting to become VP OGX this year, and luckily I got it, because being VP OGX is freaking awesome, even though it's kind of a huge headache and really crazy. But yeah, that's how my internship taught me that I did have the potential, and that's what internships should be focusing on, especially GCDP. Of course, GIP is somewhat of a different story, but at the same time, the leadership potential is still there. The engagement is still there. Each EP still has to feel like they have the potential to give to society, the potential to feel engaged and feel like they're doing meaningful work. That obviously is going to vary between every single job description, but that's why we have to focus on who the person is. What is the person's personality? How are they going to feel fulfilled in the type of work that they're doing? So when you're creating your matches, you're not only thinking about getting the numbers, I hope. In your interview process, you're thinking about asking them the appropriate questions to give them the reality of India, to give them the reality of how that specific internship is going to match their personality, is going to help them grow. Anytime you step into an interview, anytime you have that initial one-on-one talk with them, really try and think about what they're going to gain in their internship and whether or not they're going to gain the appropriate thing that matches their goals. Okay. So what I would like to talk about next is some of the things I noticed on my internship that I feel like could possibly improve the quality of the intern experience in your LC. So a few things. I know that Raghav already talked to me about this, but the job descriptions need to match what the actual reality of the job is. Not only large things like a general description of the job, but things like the time that they're going to be working each day, the amount that they're going to be getting paid is so crucial to knowing, because the job description is essentially a contract. And when they read this, they perceive it as a contract, and they're reading it as though this is what they're going to get, no way around it. If it's not the case that the job description matches what they're going to be doing, then you need to set their expectations right in the interview. You need to tell them exactly what they're going to be doing. And if it's going to change, then give them that perspective, because we all know that things don't roll out as we expect them to do in India or in many other countries. So you need to make sure that the EP understands that before they get there, because if they don't understand that and they sign the contract and they get to the country and say the job description is off in any way, their expectations will not be fulfilled and they will be extremely upset, extremely frustrated, and all of their anger is probably going to go out on Isaac, and you guys are there first, so on Delhi. So that's job descriptions of both GCDP and GIP. I know that before I went on my internship, my expectations for my internship were different, but luckily I was able to adapt to the country thanks to many different people. But that's another story. So the second thing that I noticed is that there was not the possibility of providing the quality experience to each and every single EP, because the number of EPs that you guys are bringing in does not match your capacity to impact them the way you want to. Not only in terms of housing, in terms of the projects, but also in terms of one-on-one engagement, which I think is so crucial. If at the end of my internship, I was able to sit down with Adiraj and talk about what I learned, but it was me reaching out to him that did this. And obviously, you want EPs to take active participation, but at the same time, we want to help them grow. So if you guys can give more personal talks, more personal development, that would be amazing. Thinking about what your capacity is to bring in the appropriate amount of interns. A huge amount of feedback that I always get about India is that they take in too many interns. The living situations are terrible because interns don't even have a place to sleep when they get there. And also their internships don't end up working out. these are huge, huge things, because when you sign up with Isaac to go on an internship, those are the basic necessities that you should be getting. You should be getting everything that's in your job description. You should be getting the housing, at least a little space that's on your own, so that you can kind of experience culture shock as a human being. It's extremely difficult to go to India in an unknown place. They just need a little bit of breathing room. I'm not saying a huge amount of tangible space to throw around all their stuff, just a bed and the knowledge of the TN manager that the EP is there, the knowledge that they are comfortable in some sort of way, and that's so essential. That's another piece of feedback that I would consistently get, the fact that the TN managers sometimes wouldn't even know that the EP had arrived in the country. And a lot of countries at home are telling their EPs that the LC out there is going to support you, the LC out there is going to take you in and integrate you into the culture, integrate you into Isaac. So if they're given that expectation for months before they leave, if nobody changes it before they get to the country, then somehow you guys have to cater to it or reset their expectations as soon as possible. So you have chances to do that in email or in interviews or in follow-ups before they leave. And if they get there, then make sure someone is accountable for their experience. Make sure you have someone in charge of assuring that they do arrive at their house, that they do feel comfortable, that they do have some sort of safety network, either it being interns who are already there or just someone who is able to help them out with their culture shock. I don't know if it's possible for you to perceive this in the same way I do, but from people going into India and people who have never experienced, say, a developing country before, it's going to be extremely shocking. And that's the majority of the reason probably why people get so angry and frustrated, because they're going through all this confusion with where they are, why they're there alone, and that's the feelings they're going to get. They're going to feel alone, they're going to feel shocked. It's a different story for every person. I mean, I didn't really experience culture shock, which is kind of cool, but you guys found out that my personality really matched India, so if you guys are able to find those people, then freaking get them to India, because they will absolutely love it. Basically, housing, job description, making sure that they know where to get food even is so important. I know a part of the experience is getting thrown into the culture, but things like that, things like the necessities, are things that our EPs are going to feel angry about, and the things that they feel they are entitled to, and it's true. So they need to have the comfort in knowing that they can get safe food, because they're going to get sick if they don't. They have a place to stay, a bed, somewhere comfortable. Someone is accountable for them. They know that their job is going to be starting at some point. If it's not going to be starting, we need to be completely honest with them. Don't keep pushing it back, saying that, oh, we think it's going to start in a week. They want to have some sort of time frame so that they know they're going to start putting their energy into something useful. And if they're not, then you need to find them something to put their energy into. Because, as I told you, it's really hard to experience culture shock, possibly to not have interns who are there to support you, and to not have a job to put your energy into that's fulfilling. All these factors are just going to make someone crazy, and make possibly a Facebook group that is going to be extremely full of hateful messages, which is terrible. So I'm hoping these are guidelines that'll actually help you avoid scenarios like that and help improve the EP experience. So another big thing that I talked about in my own internship was the idea of having the opportunity to be a leader. So a lot of your projects probably do that, where there is the opportunity, but you can even push this more. Push it as much as you can so that they will feel fulfilled. And not only in that, but I had a little idea for you guys to have backup plans to your projects if they don't work out. You need some sort of step-by-step process or some crisis management process that'll help your interns if their internship doesn't work out, if their housing is not working out, so that you guys can follow a procedure that is clear-cut, and then the intern knows that you're putting in your best efforts to try and accommodate them. So that's another piece of feedback that I get, is that people feel like you guys say you're going to help them, but then it never ends up happening. So if you have that process laid out, say someone's job isn't working out and they don't have anything to do, what are the steps you're going to take? Who are you going to contact to make sure that they know you're putting in the effort, the appropriate effort,